All right, today we're jumping into a massive challenge for anyone in the medical innovation space: how to actually get a new diagnostic device onto the market in Europe. You see, the whole rulebook's been thrown out and rewritten, and it's a lot tougher now. So we're going to break down what that really means. Let's get into it. So let's say you've got this amazing, groundbreaking diagnostic tool. That's fantastic. But the big question is, how do you get it from your lab into the hands of doctors and patients across the EU? You know, it used to be a pretty clear path for a lot of folks, but the new regulations have completely changed the game. And this is the key thing to get. The new in vitro diagnostic regulation, the IVDR for short, isn't just some small tweak. We're talking about a whole new level of oversight. It demands so much more from manufacturers. The bar has been raised, big time, and clearing it means you need a rock-solid plan. To build that plan, you first have to understand the challenge itself. And honestly, don't think of this as just a simple checklist. It's more like a gauntlet you have to run, and you need to be prepared for every step. Okay, so what is this thing officially? Well, it's Regulation EU 2017/746, but pretty much everyone just calls it the IVDR. This is the new rulebook. It governs every single in vitro diagnostic device. From a simple test strip you buy at a pharmacy to a super complex lab analyzer, it dictates how they get approved and how they're watched after they hit the market. So how do you even start to prepare for a challenge like this? Well, it all starts at home, inside your own organization. Long before you go talking to any authorities, you've got to forge your tools, get your ducks in a row, and build the entire foundation for your device's approval. And that foundation really rests on 4 key pillars. You have to classify your device, appoint a very specific person to be responsible for compliance, build out a super robust quality system, and then compile a mountain of technical evidence. Let's break each of those down. First things first, classification. And seriously, this one step changes everything. Under the IVDR, all devices get sorted into different classes, from A to D based on the risk level. A super low risk Class A device, you can pretty much certify that yourself. But as you climb up to Class B, C, and especially the highest risk Class D devices, the regulatory hurdles get way, way higher. We're talking mandatory assessments and even reviews by special EU expert panels. Next, you absolutely need a navigator. The IVDR says you have to appoint a person responsible for regulatory compliance, or PRC, and this is no ceremonial role, believe me. This person is legally on the hook for making sure your documentation is perfect, your post-market surveillance is actually happening, and all your regulatory duties are being met. All right, next up is the engine that drives all of this, your quality management system, or QMS. And I'm not just talking about a bunch of paperwork in a binder. This is the living, breathing operational system that proves you can make a safe and effective device over and over again. It has to be IVDR compliant, which usually means aligning to the ISO 1345 standard, and it must have systems for watching your device's performance long after it's for sale. And last but not least, you have to build your case file. The IVDR's Annex A and 3 spell out exactly what you need in your technical documentation. This is basically the Bible for your device. It's all the evidence, from analytical performance data to clinical studies to your risk management plan, that proves your device is safe and does what you say it does. Okay, phew. You've done all the internal prep work, your tools are sharp, and the case file is ready. Now what? Well, now it's time to step out and present your case to the authorities. But wait, first, a really quick but super important point for some of you. If your company isn't based in the European Union, you are required to appoint an EU authorized representative. This is your official point of contact on the ground with the national regulators. Okay, next, you've got to get into the official system. It's called EUDAMED, the European Database on Medical Devices. You have to register your company here, and in return, you get a single registration number, or SRN. You can think of that SRN as your company's official passport for the EU regulatory world. And now, it's time to meet the gatekeeper. For any device that's Class B, C, or D, you have to work with what's called a notified body. These are independent organizations that are approved by EU countries to audit you and your device. Getting their sign-off, totally non-negotiable. This is really the moment of truth. The notified body is going to do a deep, deep dive into everything you've prepared, your entire quality management system, every single page of that technical documentation. They're going to comb through it all to make sure your claims aren't just claims, that they're backed by rock-solid evidence. So let's say you've made it through the audit. You passed the assessment with flying colors. Now for the good part, the payoff for all that incredibly hard work. It's time to finally unlock the market. So once that notified body gives you the thumbs up and hands over your certificate, you're almost there. There are just a couple more things to do before you can pop the champagne. And that brings us to the final 2 crucial steps. First, your company has to issue a formal EU Declaration of Conformity. This is a legal document where you officially declare that your device meets every single relevant rule in the IVDR. And once that's done, and only then, can you actually put that famous CE mark on your product. And boom, with that CE mark on your device, you've done it. That's it. Market access. Your device can now be legally sold anywhere across the European Union. But hold on. Getting that CE mark? It feels like the finish line, but it's not. Under the IVDR, it's actually the starting pistol for a whole new reality of continuous, ongoing compliance. So if you remember anything from this, remember these 3 things. First, this higher level of scrutiny, it's the new normal. It's not going away. Second, having robust, undeniable proof that your device performs as expected is absolutely non-negotiable. And third, compliance isn't a one-and-done project. It's an ongoing process you have to manage for the entire life of your product to keep it on the market. And all of this leads to one big final question. The IVDR has created a much tougher, much more demanding world for everyone involved. So now that you've seen the whole gauntlet laid out, the only real question left is your organization truly ready for it?